As many of you have heard, it appears the Supreme Court is set to strike down Roe v. Wade. That landmark decision made nearly 50 years ago gave women across the country the constitutional right to get an abortion. Now, it all came to light due to we actually have it right here on 98 pages, a leaked opinion, which has never happened before. It was written by Justice Samuel Alito and was obtained and published by Politico. The court confirmed the opinion is official but not final. They've also opened an investigation into the leak. Already last night, hundreds of protesters turned up at the Supreme Court on both sides of the issue. You see right there. Many polls, including CBS News and Pew Research, show that a majority of Americans support keeping abortion legal in most cases. Now, I know all of you have something to say, so now's your chance. Please, DBL Nation, should abortion be legal across the country? Yes or no? Go to our tag board. Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. We want to hear from you. Tori, you and I were texting last night. Tell me what you're feeling and what went through your mind when this all went down last night.
Emotionally, I texted my sister, and she and I both said, I never thought this would happen in our lifetime. And I want to give a moment to understand that this is an emotional moment for a lot of people, and not to just rush into, well, what this means and what that means. This is big for many reasons. One, that the court was leaked. That's huge. But two, we've already decided that women have the right to make their own choice for 50 years. And now 5 justices have decided in a rare way that the right to privacy is no longer constitutionally accepted. So look out for same-sex marriage. Look out for interracial marriage. We have a host with one of those.
It's actually brought up in here. I don't want people to think that Tori's just speaking out of, conspiracy. It's actually mentioned in this
That's because
opinion.
the 5 justices are giving a nod to where they're headed. If you have 5, you've won the majority of the court. And what we lost, or what might be lost if the draft goes through, is the right to have decision over our own bodies. It is a direct hit on women and is the harshest thing we've seen in 50 years. It sets us back farther than our grandparents.
Okay, but before Jeff jumps in, I just got to make sure that I introduce a lot of, a lot of people are echoing your sentiment, Tori, but we also have people on the other side. And, if we're going to have a proper discussion on this, we got to make sure that we involve both sides.
Absolutely.
So we have Senator Josh Hawley. He says, if this is the opinion of the court, it will be one of the greatest opinions in Supreme Court history. It will save millions of lives. Edward just wrote in on Twitter, only one small step. The unborn have a right to a life that needs protected by the Constitution. Jeff, what are you thinking? Or Erica, go ahead.
Yeah, let's go to Erica.
So what Tori's referring to is setting a precedence and opening it up in terms of the Constitution, in terms of how we are actually governed in this country. Those 2 opinions are just that, they're opinions. There's nothing that's actually firm in what they're saying because, first of all, it is so interesting to me that everyone always wants to talk about all the lives that are going to be saved, the lives of these unborn children who then are born and no one cares, especially when they're under-resourced, when they are underfunded, when they are in situations that perhaps it was unplanned pregnancy. If you look at any organization, especially organizations that are committed to the advocacy of children who have been removed for one reason or another from their homes, either voluntarily or involuntarily, look at the numbers. We're at about like 50% in terms of people like this gentleman. What was his name again? Edward, how many children outside of your home do you advocate for? How many children are you actually assuring that there are resources, that they have a home to live in, that they have actual education? See, Lindy West was on The Daily Show a while ago, and she said something that a lot of people maybe don't think about, but there will always be opportunities and resources for abortion for those who actually have resources. So when we're talking politicians in this realm, so that means that the politicians, their wives, their mistresses, their girlfriends, this is what she basically said on the Daily Show. And she's absolutely right. They will always have access to fair and safe abortions. This is a war waged on the underprivileged. It's a war waged on another issue that's been brought up, and this was brought up by a white woman, and I can't remember her name, and I apologize. But she was talking about how this is considered basically a response to the assault on the idea that the demographics in this country, in our lifetime, we will see brown people outnumber white people. And that's what the whole thing is really about at the core. And the idea that this is what it's come to is so short-sighted, in my opinion. When you opened up the idea of interracial marriage, which, yes, I am married to a white man, so that affects me directly. The idea of LGBTQIA plus marriages being opened up, yes, that represented in my family as well. This is not just about the idea of the war waged on women, although we are the first ones, as always, affected.
Yeah. Listen, we're all on the same page on this, you know what I mean? And it's not great television to say that. I'm glad we have some comments from the other side, but it's a tough subject to talk about, right? And if you give one opinion on one side, everyone, their limited knowledge throws something back at you, right? I have 2 kids. I watched my wife go through childbirth. I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to talk about the leak in itself, right? Why is this leaked? How did this get leaked? It's really concerning to me how this got out there and why it got out there. Artists leak their songs all the time. Which side leaked it? Who did that? What purpose was intended for this to get out? Is this a political thing? Is this... I don't know. I'm a little confused on who put this out there. Why? Because there's always an agenda, even when artists do this. I'm not going to be at this restaurant. Hey, TMZ, I'm going to be here. There's a reason behind everything. This is calculated in my mind. I don't think it just slipped out there or someone was...
It didn't. It's never happened before.
I think there's more behind it than people are even looking into.
I do, too. And a lot of people think, could this been a person or a clerk that wanted to sound the alarm that, hey, this opinion is going to come down and we need to organize and we need to sound the alarm, right? Here's the problem. I don't want people getting so lost in the leak process that we forget that we're overturning Roe v. Wade. Yes, that's an issue. The FBI will investigate. They will find the clerk, if it's a clerk or whoever it is. My focus is on the constitutional right that's being completely grabbed away from me. And what I think is odd is that under my nose, 5 justices did it, and I had no idea.
I almost wish we had more transparency, but I just want to, if I can introduce anything to unite both sides, I'll say this. I really do believe we all want the same thing. We all want fewer abortions. If you look at the data before Roe v. Wade, when abortions were criminalized, there weren't fewer abortions. So there was more unsafe abortions.
Right, there were unsafe abortions.
So
right.
we actually have data that prove what does prevent abortions. It's education and healthcare, and healthcare that's accessible to everyone. So if we can all be on the same side, if we can all say we want to save lives, then we should all be advocating for education because we see that works, and healthcare across the board because we see that works.
But to the other team or the other side, it is absolutely an abomination and a sin to even think of doing that. So education is a conversation they are not willing to have. This is a single voter issue that has separated and will, let me say, the country geographically, because 13 states have trigger laws that will trigger anti-abortion laws just like
that. And I have a map really quickly. I just want to show our viewers. These are the states that abortion rights are not protected. You can see how many states there are. I believe we're out of time. Are we out of time? I think we have to continue the conversation if someone can let me know in my ear. Okay, so we're going to continue the conversation in our break. Go to our YouTube. Let's quickly reveal our poll. 78% of you say yes, should abortion be legal across the country? 78% of you.